What is up, everybody? It's Friday night. The weekend starts here, and I'm joined by Mr. House Party himself, Chris Stonich. How are we, sir?
I'm very good, mate. I am actually taking a break from this house party to be on this stream, so it's all about 100% commitment to the cause, and I'm more than here for it. I'd much rather be in the presence of the chat than the people in there, so it's all good. It's all good.
It was only after it got to 8:45, myself and Chris were sitting here going, "Just Paddy's never late. What's the story there?" And I remember at the back of my mind that he'd said something to me about a John Aldridge show somewhere this weekend, and I listened to a voice note and remembered, hey, he's not actually going to be joining us. So it's just myself, Mr. Chris Stonich, to take you through the next hour or so. How are you feeling, Chris? You asked me earlier on how I'm feeling about tomorrow's game, 12:30 kickoff. What about yourself? Any nerves?
Again, I'm going to get slaughtered for this because I saw I got slaughtered for this on the TikTok. I'm not going to be able to watch it. I've got a work placement thing with Newport City, so unfortunately I'm going to miss it. But honestly, I'm pretty happy. I am, to be honest. It's going to be a really nerve-wracking one. 12:30 kickoffs never sit well, mate. I know that we've got this unbelievably successful team with the best manager in the world, but 12:30 kickoffs still do things to me. I still recall the Watford 3-0 when Adam Bogdan was in goal. That was a 12:30, and that was the epitome of the 12:30 hoodoo. So I'm happy to be missing it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I just know with these kickoffs, mate, what happens to me is I worry about not getting sleep. I get to 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., and then I start looking at my phone, and then I overthink it. And then come 10 o'clock, I'm still lying in bed looking at the ceiling going, yep, it's going to be a long day. And plus, I've committed to doing the watch-along of the City game against Leeds tomorrow as well at 5:30. So, busy day.
Mate, you're going to have to get some sleep in, mate. I'm not going to lie. It's going to have to be done. Am I echoing?
No, see, a new rule for you and Paddy, by the way. You guys need to ignore the chat. I'll bring up any of the chat that's you and Paddy are like magpies. You get distracted so easily by the chat.
Oh, I don't want to echo, boys. I don't want to ruin the show for anyone. But no, yeah, look, you have to get some sleep, mate. I'm not gonna lie. It's got to be done. If you got those two things done, you're gonna be stir crazy by the time the City game comes along and say something you don't want to say. So
my worst case scenario is that City are 2-0 up after 10 minutes. That's my worst case scenario in that game.
Imagine, mate. Imagine
the mental torture then about sitting through it all.
And it's very truly feasible as well. That's the problem.
It is. Right, chat. Look, we have our own stuff that we want to talk about, but seeing as it's only myself and Chris, we thought, want to hand it over to you guys as well for some topics that you guys want us to bring up and discuss. Tchouameni, there's one straight away I see in the chat, Chris.
Happy days.
Let's have a little chat around Mr. Tchouameni because, again, loads of links this week for Liverpool. We know we've got a manager till 2026. Can we say that again, by the way? We know we've got a manager with Jurgen Klopp until 2026. It's class, isn't it? I mean, that's probably why I haven't been sleeping, to be honest. I've just been thinking about Klopp, as every male Liverpool fan and female Liverpool fan around the world most likely has as well.
Oh, mate, it's put a perk in my mood. It's put a perk in everyone's mood, I think. And it's sort of like changed our sort of viewings on transfer targets, I think. When we've spoken before, we've spoken in depth about Bellingham, we've spoken in depth about Jared Bowen, XYZ target, whatever. We've always said, well, what will they be thinking about Jurgen Klopp? He'll be going in 2 years' time. Well, no, that's not a thing anymore. It's 4 years at least. And that is a massive thing in the transfer market to have a manager come in for you who is probably the best man manager in the world at the moment, if not ever. Like, honestly, I don't recall in my lifetime a better man manager. I'm sure there was beforehand, but yeah, it's something you want to work under. And Tchouameni, I'm sure, will be no different. 22 years old, unbelievable midfielder. I'd be snapping Monaco's hand off, to be honest. If we can get him for under sort of 60 million, it would be incredible.
So here's one from Miroslav, and I did see this. I think Chris did as well. He's watching on a tablet or something, wasn't he? The Liverpool Villarreal game. I think it was on his Instagram story, if I'm correct.
And do you know what he said? Do you know the words he said, Craig?
Did he say choo choo? Please tell me he said choo choo.
Sadly, he didn't, but he did say the famous words uttered by Thiago Alcantara. How are we?
Now, there you go. I mean, there's been some I say reports on Twitter today. I've been sent some screenshots of some absolute fucking chancers who were trying to say that a 45 million fee has been agreed and that they're about to start talking personal terms. And look, to my knowledge, Chris, that's absolute nonsense.
I've heard absolutely nothing when it comes to that. I just think it's people trying to ride on the wave of the Klopp deal, I think. And who can blame them? Like, if they're trying to get followers and that sort of stuff and people are falling for this shit, then fairs. But yeah, it's I do think we're linked with him. I mean, I think if Paul Joyce confirms anything, then it's probably going to happen or has happened already. I just don't think Liverpool will be that hasty really in getting a bid sorted already. They'll wait until the end of the season. Don't want to trigger any omens or anything. So I don't think a deal will be done before the end of the season. To be honest with you, I think it would sort of rock the boat a little bit. If you know what I mean. I don't know how the players would take it, but for me in the dressing room, it would rock the boat.
I've got to admit, look, I'm a casual when it comes to Tchouameni. I've only seen a handful of his appearances, but yourself, I think it was yourself, and definitely some people in our community have said to me, think of Gini Wijnaldum, think of a perfect Gini Wijnaldum replacement, and that would be Tchouameni. Is that, would you, again, haven't watched much of him,
I would say if you remove the weaknesses away from Gini Wijnaldum, you get a really on Tchouameni. He's and this is in League One. Look, and I understand people are very hasty to judge League One, but it's probably one of the biggest exports of talent in the world in terms of football. And he bosses that league in terms of his interception stat, 98th percentile in the world. He's got also one of the best progressive passing stats in the world. So that tells you enough. I remember Gini Wijnaldum last season, 35th percentile for the progressive passing stat, which for me is appalling for a Liverpool midfielder. That should not be happening. You'd expect that from a Burnley midfielder. And look, I get it was how Gini played, but Tchouameni's got everything Gini had and more for me, and he's already 22. And that's incredible. And that's not slating Wijnaldum, by the way, because he was one of my favourite players at Liverpool before sort of last season. So, yeah, I love him, mate. I would bite anyone's hand off to get him. He's so good. He fits.
Let me see how it works. Hang on. Tchouameni. It's not the same. It's not the same.
Tchouameni. Here we go again. Mama.
Here's a good question. My answer is Bellingham. I mean, look, this is what's getting me with this, Chris. I don't want, like, part of me doesn't want to admit defeat. So if Liverpool signs Tchouameni, I don't want to give up on Bellingham.
It's
I don't
not
want to
giving
give
up
up on
Craig.
that dream.
Craig, it's a step. It's a step on the journey. Tchouameni and Bellingham are born to play together. That's what I'm saying. Why the hell not? Why can't we sign both? Jude Bellingham won't go this summer. Yeah, Manchester City are already signing Erling Haaland. So Jude Bellingham will not be going anywhere from Borussia Dortmund. They make sure they don't sell more than one big player every summer, despite the fact they are probably the world's most famous selling club. And I think it'd be beneficial for Bellingham to stay there for longer. Doesn't mean that Liverpool won't get him as well and secure their future in midfield for the next decade. It's amazing, man.
Yeah, you see, I'll sign me up for that. I'm all over that. I'm at peace with the idea of not getting Bellingham this summer. I've long thought it would be next summer that we go after Bellingham. I wondered if Liverpool really were interested in Erling Tchouameni, would that negate the interest we've shown in Bellingham? Because I don't think people realize quite how strong our interest is in Bellingham. Like, we are all over Bellingham. If he moves, we're going to be all over that.
They're totally different, though. And I think that's what it's got. I don't think we should treat them as the same. I know they play in similar positions, but Bellingham's a lot more advanced. He's a much more creative playmaker, and Tchouameni is much more box to box. Doesn't mean that he's not progressive, but Bellingham's got all over that. I think they can't be treated as one and the same. They have to be treated as different deals. And let's not forget that Jordan Henderson is 30, Thiago is 30, James Milner's 37. That Fabinho is 28. Tchouameni can also play in the 6, by the way.
Oh, we're pushing it now with 28. We're trying to make 28 sound old now. We're pushing it.
Well, yeah, but I suppose, yeah, with Fabinho, he could probably
maybe
play
that's
for
just
ages.
me thinking, hang on now, if 28's old, I'm out of here. Like, I'm done.
It feels old to me, mate. Well, I'm 19 and I feel old, so that's a problem.
Thank you so much, mate. That's really
Oh,
kind of
that's
you.
lovely.
Appreciate your support, dude. Really do. Thank you so
But
much.
I will say, and it sounds very Tory. However, sorry, I've got people coming into my house.
I love that.
Uh,
Hey!
yeah, that was it. That was it. It sounds very Tory, but MNST is goated. I'm sorry.
Can you
It's just how
decipher
it
that?
is. Huh?
MNST. Can I get that in English?
Like Marks and Spencers.
Oh, Marks and Spencer's T. Sorry. Like M&S.
Yeah.
You made it sound like M-N-S, not M&S.
But what's the difference?
Surely you can see the difference. Like, so 3 initials is M-N-S, but it's M&S. It's
That's what I said.
Spencer's. It's Marks and Spencer's, so it's M&S. It's not
That's what I
M-N-S.
said.
It's M&S.
It's an M&S.
Look, a lot of stuff out of M&S is golded. They used to make some lovely Prosecco, actually. I don't know if you're a fan of Prosecco, but they make some.
I'm a dabbler in all forms of alcohol, Craig.
Boom. Liz, thank you so much for the kindness again. And look, I hope the tests come back whichever way you want them to come back, whatever the best result is for you there. I know you had a little minor back operation, so I hope all is good. And yes, we will always hydrate. Always got the water here, Liz. Always got
I've
it
got my
on standby.
sustainable bottle. I've got my sustainable red bottle here.
So I know I want to take a little, I love a tangent, folks. I love a tangent.
tangent.
Before we get stuck into tomorrow and transfers and club, I want to rattle your brains for a little bit of help, if I may. So I was explaining this to Chris. I've got this kind of dilemma. As you know, we're moving to Twitch in the summer, which is brilliant. And I want Anfield Agenda to become a professional business entity, and I want us to move forward and do things properly. But I also don't want to be in my living room every day, taking up my family's space. So ideally, we would move to an office space. Now, I've looked around for months for office space that would be suitable to what we do, and I can't find any really realistically. So the option is to build something in the back garden. That is going to cost about 20 to 22 grand. So I need some creative marketing ideas to help us raise 22 grand or 20 grand. But I don't want it to be a case of give us money. I want it to be a case of you get something. So anyone who has any ideas, lash it into the chat, email it to us, and like that. I'm sure there's some good marketing experts out there or sales experts who could help us in this venture. And yeah, no emails would go kill yourself, please. I get enough of them already. So yeah, if anybody has any ideas of how we could go about it or shake it up, help me, because I'm not a businessman. I've said this time and time again. I'm not actually what I even call myself a creative type. I'm just a normal fella who is kind of winging this as we build. And yeah, so any help will be appreciated if anybody out there has any ideas. So
can only fans.
People have said to me to do the cameo thing, but the problem with that is,
Don't
mate,
do it, Craig.
I don't think I'm anybody. That's my problem. Like, I'm a nobody. Why would anybody want anything from me? I'm a nobody.
Craig, you went that. Let me just say that for a start. You went that like caravan. You went a nobody, mate. You're the face of Tchouameni. Before I came to this channel, that's what I thought. Not to suck your dick or anything, because I'm not going to do that.
I didn't hear the pre-suck dick part. Sorry.
Did you not?
Blinded by that part, Chris.
I said, in my opinion, you're not a nobody. You're the face of Liverpool YouTube. So I wouldn't go that far. But cameo is a no-go for me. Like, I don't know why you would charge to send video messages, man. I think it's very harsh.
I've been approached by a couple of them over the years, and I've always said no, because you know what? Just say hello to somebody if they just put it in the comments. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think you retain your charm, because you're you're one of the people. You're man of the people, mate. So I don't think
one of the people who doesn't like people. That's how I was described before, which is kind of true.
Very true, to be fair. A man of the people who doesn't like people. That makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I don't. It doesn't sit well with me, to be honest, because it's the biggest profit margin maker that you can ever get. Someone can film themselves saying happy birthday for 20 seconds and make themselves 30 quid. Like, that costs them nothing. It's madness. I don't know how they do it. Honestly, I don't know how you can make that money.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd want it either. You know, I wouldn't want the video.
Do you not feel shit about that? Honestly, I feel awful if I had to make. If anyone wants a video message off me, and I highly doubt anyone does, right? fucking message me and I'll do it for you. I don't care. I'm sure you're the same. Like,
Yeah, I've often been asked to send stuff for birthdays and stuff like that, and I've always emailed back with whatever they've asked for. Of course, yeah, we're always happy to.
Exactly, and that's part of the charm. So I don't think anyone should go on Cameo. No chance. I back Paddy on it though. To be fair, bikini car wash.
I mean, I'm up for it. I'm not doing the car washing part. I'll do the bikini part. Mick said here about his daughter. The thing about that though, Mick, is it's got to be insulated. It's got to be soundproofed. It's got to be wired for electric. It's got to be plumbed and lots of other stuff. So hence the expense. Anyway, we move on from that. We move back to footballing stuff. What do we think's next after Klopp and the backroom staff? What are we expecting to happen next, Chris? Because, you know, as you said earlier on, we're all kind of, I said to you, have you anything you want to talk about? And you said, no, we're all kind of just riding this wave. And we are, you're right. We're all, in the last 48 hours, we're just absolutely talking about Klopp, and rightly so. But it does give security. It gives security to those players who are yet to commit. It gives security, of course, to sponsors and stuff as well. So what are we expecting next to happen? Do we think it's going to be the Salah contract?
I think it's all going to happen, Craig. I'm not going to lie. I understand the eagerness for what's next, what's going to happen. It's all going to happen, mate. Honestly, if Jurgen Klopp says he wants Mo Salah, Sadio Mane, Roberto Firmino, James Milner, Naby Keita all signed up, that is happening. Like, I don't really care or know what's going to happen next. Like, oh my God.
I'm not going Breaking Bad, mate. I'm not going full on Breaking Bad. This I'd love to do. I'd love to do a live show, but I've got no idea how to go about doing it. Basically,
do you listen to no free promo, but do you listen to Peter Crouch's podcast?
No, I don't have time.
They did a live show.
I love Crouchy.
They did a live show, and they said, and I've listened to sort of reviews of it, and they said they have no idea what they were doing. They just rocked up and just chatted shit on a thing in front of 3,000 people and got Liam Gallagher out. Like, that was it.
Yeah, okay, the difference between that is I'm not Peter Crouch. I don't have Peter Crouch money. I don't have Peter Crouch contact, and I don't know. Was it Liam Gallagher?
Liam Gallagher, yeah.
I don't know Liam Gallagher to have him pop in either. So there's a few holes in that theory.
A few holes in that plan, but I'd back it. I'd be there. I'd be in the crowd, mate.
Thoughts on Liverpool Twitter not liking Anfield agenda?
It's not all of Liverpool Twitter dislikes Anfield agenda.
I don't know, like, what the point. Like, okay, they don't like us. Sound. I mean, I never expect everyone to like us, but here's the beauty of all of this, though. Like us or don't like us, there's absolutely fucking nothing they can do to stop us. That's the important part of all of this, mate. All the little mouthy fools on Twitter who love to run us down don't know the real me. Chris, Paddy, Connor, they know me. They know what I'm like as a person. They know how kind I am, and they know how nice a human being I am. So they're the opinions I care about. The people who I interact with on a daily basis, the people whom I work alongside and trust things with. So people on Twitter who don't know me, that like to spread falsehoods about me and basically slander my name, I couldn't give a shit about them, mate. They've no interest in me succeeding, so I've got no interest in their opinions. Plus, they haven't been able to stop us as much as they've tried.
And look, everyone's entitled to their opinion, right? And that is fine. But
yeah, of course, absolutely they are.
And look, you can think we're shit, you can think we're cringe. I don't really, to be honest, as Craig said, like, the only people I care about are my family and my friends and the people I work with that I value the opinion of. Like, I got called a plastic fan the other day, and I think I've been to 100 football matches of Liverpool. I've put myself and endured through the Brendan Rodgers era of and the Roy Hodgson era, and you know, that's fair enough. If you think I'm a plastic fan just because I don't have a Scouse accent, that's fair enough. However, it's when it gets personal, and that's the problem with it. And it affects all of us.
137,000 YouTube followers, exactly. 80,000 TikTok followers, 40-something thousand Instagram followers. So all these little assholes that love to say we're shit and we do this and we do that, they're just jealous. It's as simple as that. They're just jealous because rather than get up off their arse and have a go of it like I did, put yourself out there to be judged, they sit there and critique everybody else because they haven't got the nuts to do what we do. That's the guts. We're braver people than they are. That's it. Don't like us, absolutely no problem. There's a lot of people I don't like that make content. But to go out of your way to try and lie about us, I feel is very disingenuous. And they can do it from behind the fake accounts that they run with no substance to anything that they say and no comeback to anything that they've said. Whereas if I say something, people know who I am. They know what I've said, and it can come back to me, and rightly, I can be punished for it. So, yeah, I don't mind it. To be fair,
No,
I've got
exactly.
an army behind me now, mate, and I fucking love it. I love it,
I,
and I love every one of them. I love every single person in our community massively.
I think when we did the podcast with you on the LFC transfer room, Craig, the one thing that really resonated with me is that you said like about your Discord server and about like what you've done is like the best feeling you've got is you know a little bit about thousands of people, and that is one of the most amazing things. And even I've got to experience that. It's like I know Ella works in Dublin Airport. I know Liz has had a back operation. Like that sort of shit. Like that's amazing, and that's the
Beautiful,
benefits
isn't
of what
it?
we do. I don't give a flying fuck about what people say. Like it's so rewarding. It is so rewarding.
See, here's the thing, Chris. I don't talk about this too publicly, but sometimes I like to just remind people. So those people on Twitter that hate me, slag me off, accuse me of everything, don't seem to have any issues when I buy Christmas presents for kids from underprivileged backgrounds in the area of Liverpool because parents haven't been struggling through difficult times. They don't see the money I've donated to food banks and local charities. They don't see the amount of stuff I've given away. They don't know me at all. All they want to do is bring us down for whatever reason I do not know. And I can't change it, but I've learned to ignore it. And that's one thing that I'm really proud of is I've learned to ignore it all and just move on and
Exactly.
keep doing my
And
thing.
I'm still learning that. Like I'll look for every comment, and if there's a negative one, I'll be like, "Oh fuck, are they right?" And then when that comes with age, like people get to realize it. But honestly, the guys that celebrate, then they come into this chat all the time and give us, I mean, constructive comments, good comments, like whatever comments, your opinion, like that's what we need as content creators is a sense of validation almost. I think, and that's what you give us. You all give us that. It's amazing, honestly. You give us life.
Thank you, Tice. I hope that's how I pronounce that one. Yes, they will, mate. But look, here's the thing: I'm sound about feedback. Absolutely. Like if you've got some
Yeah,
constructive feedback about what we do, I will interact with you forever about it. But ultimately, there is on Twitter, there's just a growing band of people who just don't like anybody being happy. It's weird. It's a weird state of mind. And it's all right until it got to a point where we had to put like buy security cameras for our house and stuff like that because of threats. That's it's par for the course. But the part that I've struggled with all of it is the mental health stuff. Because when you open up about mental health and you genuinely do, because two ways. One, you sometimes you need a bit of love back. You need a virtual hug. Sometimes you want to maybe just hope that you help somebody else there. But to see it constantly used back at me, or to hear
yeah,
people constantly speak about my parents who, my mum took her own life, my dad drank himself to death, to people use that back against me and email me to say, you're going to be watching the game with your dead mum and dad this weekend, and you should join your mum and dad, and all this kind of stuff. And then I see these same people on mental health day and stuff
preaching.
preaching. If DMs are always open, all this kind of stuff. The hypocrisy that you just wouldn't believe. It's vicious, man, and it just made me change my view on the world immensely. That like I used to think the world was full of mainly good people. Now I think there's just a lot of dickheads out there that are just bitter.
I think the ones who don't say anything are good people, mate. To be honest, and there's a very loud minority, and it doesn't seem like a minority because there's a lot of people there. But there's a very loud minority who decide who follow the crowd, who are sheep, but then like to bring people down who are always on the up. I don't understand that. Like we worship Liverpool Football Club as a team. Us all of us are massive fans, and we don't like to bring them down when they're on the up. And it's the same as in a lot of content creators. I just think that people like to bring them down. Maybe it's not conventional. Maybe they're not used to this sort of industry yet, and that's okay. But when it gets to resulting to personal insults like that's bad, man. And when it brings family into it, that's wrong.
On this one, thank you, mate, for the super chat. I genuinely don't wholeheartedly believe it's just because we're not local, because I know for a fact that there are some people who just don't like fan content, whether it be local or not. So I know there are people that don't like some stuff the Anfield
That's
Rap
fair
do
enough.
or that
That's
Red
fair
Men
enough. You
do.
would not like
I
it.
think they're brilliant, and there's a market for everyone. But look, one thing that these idiots have to understand is there is a lot more non-local fans than there are local fans, and how they can't grasp this, I don't know. But anyway, fuck it, fuck Twitter. Let's no more there. They don't get any more of our time. Let's.
And I also want to say as well, just to finish it off, there are a whole lot of Scousers who I know who are content creators who are wholeheartedly accepting, and a whole lot of local fans. And I just think it's a very certain type of person to sort of criticize what we're doing in a way that isn't appropriate. Like I'm fully around, and I'm sure you are as well, Craig, for people saying, I don't like your content because X reason, X reason, X reason. Not because I don't like your content because your mum's a slag or something like that. Like that's ridiculous. Like there's no basis in fact there. But when it's based in fact, please bring it in. Like honestly, I'm more than open to it, and we all want to improve.
No problem, buddy. I'm going to bring it right back around now, and I apologize.
Absolutely.
Right. So we've done Tchouameni, we've talked about Bellingham, we've talked about the Salah contract. On Bobby, actually, Bobby's an interesting one because he's probably the one who's getting the least game time right now of the old guard front three. I'm biased because he's my favorite. I'd love him to sign the new contract, but as I said earlier on today, like Lallana or maybe Nico Williams, or I'll never hold it against somebody if they want to move on for football reasons. They want to play games, they're not happy with the game time. So I'm a little bit intrigued to see what the pathway is for him, because if Carvalho is coming, and he is, you would imagine probably a long-term creative attacking midfield false nine kind of player. What the future does hold for Bobby. Now, I think we'll both agree, and I hope the chat will agree, that he certainly has a few more years left in him. But is he going to have enough playing time at Liverpool to keep him happy? I guess me and you can't really answer that, but what would be your gut on it, though?
Jurgen Klopp signing a contract, I think, will extend Liverpool's Roberto Firmino's Liverpool career. He is the man, Jurgen Klopp's man, his baby almost. Like he is the one who was there from the start, the beginning. He was a Rodgers signing, an Ian Ayre signing, actually, technically, a football committee signing, transfer committee. And I understand that he's had a couple of injuries this season, and I understand that potentially hasn't performed at his best for the last few years, but he's still so crucial as a squad player and as a player to play in big games. I still think he's more than capable of playing in as many games as possible. I think that with Klopp signing this deal, and I know I'm going to sound like a broken clock here, but it is so important. I think there's no reason why Bobby doesn't stay. I was surprised to see him in the list from David Maddock of players that Klopp definitely wants to sign on, to be honest. But then part of me wasn't surprised either, because it's Bobby, it's Klopp. Like they are one and the same in terms of their philosophies. I don't think Bobby will get angry with the amount of game time. He's probably fifth choice, but that doesn't mean that he won't come on as a substitute every single game, because he probably will. And yeah, I'm more than optimistic of keeping him around. And look, I think it would be the best financial decision for the club anyway.
Deep Harris with a big virtual hug. Absolutely love it, mate. Thank you. Really appreciate your support as always, my man.
My guy.
DJ said Firmino's injuries at the minute worries him. Yeah, I get you. And look, we are going to have to make some difficult decisions. I mean, if we've looked through the squad on multiple occasions. We firmly believe Oxlade-Chamberlain's going to go. We firmly believe that Nico Williams will move on, obviously in search of first team football. And there's probably a few other players like Davies and Nat Phillips. And yeah, I know it still baffles me, Chris. It really does, mate. I mean,
I completely forgot about him.
Why sign him? I'll never understand it. Why not just loan him for 6 months or
Mate, we're going to
let
make
Celtic
profit
have
on him, though.
him?
We are
They
going to
won't.
make profit. He's a profit signing.
But have we increased his value in any way? Like
Probably.
how?
We signed him for 500k, didn't we? That was the signing because he was running out of contract.
Yeah, he was going to go to Celtic on a free transfer.
So we'll probably sell him for like 3 mil. Profit. Woo!
Yeah. Has there been any talk on Klopp's wages, actually? I don't even know what Klopp earns.
I think he's one of the highest earners. And deservedly so, by the way. Simeone's the highest earning manager in the world. Then it's Guardiola, then it's Klopp, I think.
Is he really? Diego Simeone is the highest paid manager in the world. Wow. For
Doesn't
that,
surprise me.
for basically for anti-football, that's mental.
But I suppose he's taken to Atletico Madrid to heights they never thought they'd reach. So maybe they're trying so hard to keep on to him, to keep hold of him, that they'll be able to pay him that money.
I don't know. It's obviously been a successful period under Diego Simeone. The current La Liga champions, albeit that crown will
Not
be
for
wrestled
long.
away very soon to Real Madrid. Yeah. Wow, that is nuts. Fucking hell! Whatever he's been paid is too much.
I think it's 21 million euros a year.
So that's like 400 something grand a week.
I think so.
That's extortionate.
Yeah.
I remember seeing.
Madness.
We spoke about Pep Guardiola being linked to the Brazil job yesterday, and it was a 10 million salary, and apparently that's about half his salary.
Oh,
than he gets now.
Jesus Christ!
What?
I've just looked at the salary. This is according to Sportex.com. Diego Simeone is earning 37 million a year.
Human money, like real cash.
37 million pounds. 37 million pounds a year. What?
Oh, God.
Guardiola's 20 million. Klopp 17 million. Oh my God.
So the two best managers in the world are getting paid less than Diego Simeone.
Yep.
Wow.
That is literally what it says, boys. I thought it was less as well, but he's definitely the highest paid in the world.
Do you think, and again, I'd love the chat's opinion on this, and it kind of leads me back to the United situation, and should the manager be the highest paid at the club? Because if you think about it, if you look at the structures of the way clubs are these days, particularly the big successful clubs, Liverpool, Manchester City at the minute, clubs whose manager are the patriarch or the highest, I don't know what the word I'm looking for here, but they're the figurehead of the football club. And they don't allow player power at the club. So United, we see at the minute that there's a lot of talk that there's too much player power. They're bringing in superstars who think they're above the club and above the structure and stuff. So is there an argument that the manager should be the highest paid person at the club, of the very top clubs, I mean?
There's an argument in an ideal world, Craig. And to be honest, it would be logical, but I think it's gone far too far now for that to occur. We've seen like Messi, Mbappe, God knows, players who are demanding £800,000 to £1 million a week. Like, managers never going to have that. And to be honest, I understand the influence of a manager, but a world-class player can get you out of any situation. I don't know if a world-class manager can.
But to flip that on its head a little bit, a manager has to be able to stamp down his authority, and he has to be the most senior, powerful person in the footballing side of a football club. So it must be very hard for somebody, let's just say, who goes into a dressing room like a PSG, looks around, sees Kylian Mbappe, sees Neymar, sees Messi, and knows that no matter what they do or say, these players have to be played every week. These players, are going to kick up a fuss if they aren't happy. And how can you really have a cohesive unit if there's no figurehead? I think there needs to be structural change of. I think the power needs to be wrestled away from the players, and I think maybe the only way we can potentially do that is by making the manager the be all and end all, the figurehead. And to do that, they at least should have parity, I think, with the highest earners of the club.
It's true, but then you see Frank Lampard. Has he really earned Earning as much as
Everton, mate, Championship club.
True, to be fair, true. I don't know. It's an idealistic way and probably the best way of thinking, in my opinion. But I don't think it'll ever happen. I mean, do you remember the Glenn Johnson clause
That he had to play when fit?
Had to play when fit. Now, in my opinion, that is disgusting. Like, how is that in like showing any form of sporting integrity in any way? It's madness. What if Glenn Johnson's in a mad
by the club either?
No. What if he's in a madly poor form and he's just like, well, he has to play. Like, legally, he has to play. It's mental, mate. Honestly. That was crazy. I don't think we'd see anything like that now at Liverpool, but in terms of the pay, look, Jurgen Klopp deserves more than anyone. He is the most important figure, but a world-class player is more valuable than a world-class manager, in my opinion. I genuinely think so.
Yeah, see, I beg to differ. I would, again, this is interesting because I love different perceptions, but for me, I almost think of a football club like any other business or army, or, that there has to be a leader. And you can have a leader on the pitch, of course you can, but ultimately I think somebody like Pep Guardiola, somebody like Jurgen Klopp, somebody like Antonio, well, maybe not Antonio Conte because he's not usually there for the long haul, but somebody like Klopp or Guardiola has managed to come into a football club, help build it, help galvanize it. And I look at what's going on with Eric Ten Hag, and he's coming into Manchester United. And yeah, we'd be lucky he'd be getting rid of Pogba probably and a few others, but you still have Ronaldo in there, somebody whose brand is so big that he'll always have a say.
Is Ronaldo a world-class footballer?
Still, well, I think we could still put him in the world-class bracket. He wouldn't be at the very top of it, but he's a goal-scoring machine.
Norwich merchant, mate. Norwich merchant.
He's still a goal. What's he scored now? 17, 18?
17 goals, to be fair. He's coming to... Have you seen the stat? Manchester United's last 9 goals. It was Ronaldo, Fred, and that was when Ronaldo wasn't playing. Ronaldo.
Yeah, see, and I guess another reason I'm saying this is I look around at the world of football right now, and the players who impress most of us are usually the hungrier, less showman-like players. So, like, Liverpool is a collection of very, very, very good men, very good players, very good technicians. Not real superstars, though. Like, yes, they're global brands, but they're not flash gits, basically, is what I'm getting at. And I think we need more of this in football, more young, hungry players. And I think that's what Klopp has done brilliantly at Liverpool.
Definitely. I get that, but my view is purely on the short term. I think a world-class player can win you a game. I'm not sure a world-class manager can win you a game before it's even started. Like, there's some games where Lionel Messi in his absolute prime, like, you knew the game was over before it even started. He scored 91 goals in a calendar year, man. That prime Lionel Messi is someone who could win you a football match before it's even started. It doesn't matter who the manager is. I just think Klopp needed 2 or 3 years. Guardiola needed 2 or 3 years. I think you can win a football match in an instant with a world-class player.
Interesting. Right, let's have a look ahead to tomorrow. So Newcastle, 12:30, St. James's Park. I did my predicted 11 earlier on. Who would you like to see start again? There's a few shouts from the chat, maybe rest Thiago.
I can see why. I think we want to wrap him in cotton wool, but I think he's always proven his fitness, really. In such a big... I think it's our toughest game left, if I'm being honest. Tottenham, obviously, big game, but I think at Anfield we will win. Away at Newcastle, 12:30 after a Champions League semi-final, despite how sort of laborious it was towards the end. I would. I understand the logic, but I would play him, boys. I would play him 100%. It's so important. I'd go with our strongest 11. I'd probably put Matip in for Konate. That would be my only change.
Yeah, I went with Matip as well, actually. And it was really just because he didn't play midweek was the reason I went with John Matip. And again, it's such a lovely thing to be able to say, but I don't care what centre-backs Klopp puts out because he'll get it right and they'll do a job and they'll do a very good job. And that's a lovely thing to say.
I wouldn't be against Diogo Jota either, by the way. Not at all. in the 9. I'd definitely start Diaz. If anything, I'd probably rest Mane, even though he's in a great form. I just think Jota deserves a shot. He's been sort of disregarded really over the last few weeks, and I think he's earned a start, and he's good enough. Honestly, I think he's more than likely to score in a game like that, a scrappy game. I think it will be a scrappy game, to be honest, Craig. I don't know about you.
I don't know, man. I'm being skewed by the 12:30 kickoff time. I am, because they can throw up mad, that's maybe not so much mad results, but mad games at times. Like, you expect a bit of a broken game, but sometimes they end up high scoring affairs. And as we touched on before, Newcastle are no mugs at the minute. They're in a very good run of form.
Second in the form table.
Yeah, and with 9th place potentially, albeit an outside chance of getting your Europa Conference League football next season, they're currently sitting that place in the table, so they technically have something to play for. And also they've got their futures to play for as well on the ready how, because they know there's an influx of new money to the club. They've already brought in some signings, and they spent 100 million, but they've spent it well compared to how we've seen other clubs in a similar, like Villa. For the year Villa came up, they spent and Fulham, they spent a load of money. Didn't work out too well though. So I think Newcastle deserves some plaudits for how they've spent the money.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think Dan Burn, for a start, like I'm just going to put out there, underrated in my opinion as a footballer. Let alone,
he's a local, isn't he, as well? Like, he's
a Geordie lad. He was released by Newcastle as a teenager, went to South Shields, and then worked his way back up the leagues. I think that's amazing that he's got back to there. Kieran Trippier, I mean, despite the fact he got injured, he won them several games before that. Bruno Guimaraes, mate, I'm so impressed with him. I don't know how they managed to get that one over the line, to be honest. He should be playing for a top 6 club. Maybe that's what Newcastle will be soon. Maybe he wants to spearhead that, but he is so good, man. Best Bruno in the Premier League, in my opinion.
Thank you very much, Mike. Really appreciate that. Absolute legend. So I suppose we should really get to the title of tonight's stream. The Klopp wants Salah and the boys' contracts renewed. And I mentioned this before we knew that Klopp was signing a new deal, but I wonder, was one of the things holding Mo back the situation with Klopp and not knowing if he signed a 4-year deal, Salah, who'd be the manager after 2 of them?
Yeah. It's got to have been a thought process in his head, because Mo Salah would have thought, oh, who's going to come in to manage? Maybe it's going to be Steven Gerrard, who's not got the managerial experience that Jurgen Klopp has. Maybe it's going to be, I don't know, Nagelsmann. Maybe he doesn't have the respect for him. Jurgen Klopp has built Mo Salah. And I understand that Mo Salah's done a lot of it himself individually, but the system is so perfectly fit to Mo Salah's style and technique that it'd be foolish for Salah to not consider Klopp. And I think now that's done, it will get done. Like, this Klopp deal influences pretty much everything going forward in the next 2 years. Like, if Jurgen Klopp is at the club, it becomes a so much more attractive prospect. I understand the club is bigger than everyone, right? And you should want to come to Liverpool anyway, especially in the state that it's in. But Jurgen Klopp has put it in the state that it's in. And he is probably one of the best managers of his generation in the last sort of 30 years anyway. Like, so it's influencing everything. I think Mo signs, and I think it definitely was part of his consideration.
Do we think Tchouameni is going to happen? Let me just put that to the chat, because there's not very often where, this is going to sound really fucking strange, it's not very often that we're actually publicly linked with somebody and we go and sign them. Like, think about, like,
Thiago,
there was some links to Diaz. Yeah, I suppose at least the Thiago stuff was being denied left, right, and centre by everybody. The Echo, everybody was denying it, even though it made sense, I suppose, because of his contractual situation. He'd already told Bayern he didn't want to sign the new deal, and he wasn't going to stay. I don't know. A long time ago, I kind of made peace with the fact that I thought Chelsea were going to sign Tchouameni. Now, obviously, Chelsea's situation is a bit precarious at the minute, albeit they look like they have a preferred bidder. Even though there was, did you see the 4.2 million or billion, offer that was put in today by whoever the richest dude in England?
Jim Ratcliffe.
Yeah, 4.25 billion worth of an offer.
He owns who does he own in France? He owns someone in France
Nice,
as well, doesn't he? Yeah,
Nice.
But yeah, Tchouameni. I always envisioned him going to Real Madrid. I'm not going to lie. But apparently, according to reliable sources, they're looking to extend Dani Ceballos, which is going to cool their interest on Tchouameni, which I think is mental. If I'm being honest with you, but people forget they've already got Eduardo Camavinga playing a very very similar role. But if those two played in the same midfield, I fear for anyone, to be honest. They'd be incredible.
Well, one of the things that I'd seen from the Madrid side was that they don't view him as a necessity because the likelihood is he'll be on their bench. So that kind of made me
Probably.
think, well, if he's going to be on their bench, what would his game time be like with us? Because I
I
would
think
say
you start for me.
in well, how would the midfield look for you if we signed Tchouameni? What would be, I know
Fabinho,
every
Thiago,
game
Tchouameni.
changes, but who would be your
For
likely
me,
starting treble or
I
trio?
think Tchouameni on that right hand side would be. It fits like a glove, mate. Honestly, and I know a lot of people dislike the statistics, and I get it, but his running stats, I think it would couple so perfectly with Trent Alexander-Arnold in the fact that he could cover for him. He's also very capable defensively. He's got everything about him that I think would fit a Liverpool player, and he's also progressive, as I said earlier. I think it'd be Fabinho, Thiago, Tchouameni as a starting midfield.
So would it be Fabinho, Thiago, Tchouameni, as you've said, with Keita being Thiago's rotation and Henderson being Tchouameni's
Tchouameni.
rotation?
I think Henderson loses a few more minutes next season, if I'm being honest. I think he's been very good in the second half of the season, to be honest, and getting a lot of disrespect that he doesn't deserve. But as he gets slightly older, I think the quality in our midfield is showing a lot more. I think Curtis Jones gets more minutes. To be honest, I think Harvey Elliott still gets more minutes.
Well, I was just
as
going
well.
to say, what happens with Harvey Elliott then? So if you bring in Tchouameni and he's going to be your starting right-sided player, we've just seen Elliott be kind of evolved into a right-sided midfield player instead of a winger. So what would happen with his future, I wonder?
Oh, there's plenty of time. Football's a squad game nowadays. He's 18 years old still, nearly 19. Plenty of time for Harvey Elliott. And it's no world class clubs have world class squads. Having Harvey Elliott there, I just think he can cover so many. He can cover multiple positions. He can play both very very well. He's still so young. He's still got the potential to evolve there. And let's not forget, Thiago is 31 nearly. You've got if you can potentially move Tchouameni to the left, or you could put Harvey Elliott on the left as well, mate. Honestly, it's coming up Millhouse. It's my favorite saying in the world, but it really really is, because you've got a squad there that's more than capable of developing at a sort of right timeline as well, which is it's just brilliant.
Really quickly, thank you, Paul, for the kindness, and thank you for the super chat. In answer to your question, if anybody ever wants to get in touch with us, the easiest way is just contact@AnfieldAgenda.com. People don't know we have a website. We do have a website. We don't do anything with it, to be honest, but we do have emails linked to it. So it's contact@AnfieldAgenda.com. Really straightforward.
And don't send any horrible messages, because
Please don't. I mean, my soul can't take any more of them. I get about 20 of them a week, and it's fucking soul destroying. Another one. Thank you very much for this. I know you like West Ham, Craig, but I feel we'll need Frankfurt to knock them out next week so that they don't rest their players against City. I think the odds are West Ham are going out. I mean, I've seen a lot of confidence, which I was glad to see from the West Ham side, but I don't know if you watched the game, Chris. I was very impressed with Frankfurt. I thought they were a very well polished unit.
Offensively, 100%.
Oh yeah, they got bodies forward, man. They attacked and got bodies forward.
Offensively, I thought Frankfurt were fantastic. Yeah, I think they could still be picked apart defensively. I still think West Ham have a very very good chance over in Germany. To be honest, I think West Ham are better away from home anyway.
But man, there's going away from home, and there's going to be the atmosphere inside that. Like those Frankfurt fans are special breed. They're top notch. They make an atmosphere. Like
they are brilliant. They are, but mate, I can still see a real result there for West Ham. I thought Bowen was fantastic yesterday. By the way,
he nearly got goal of the fucking season, and what? Oh my god, he's not right to do that. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, mate. Look, he's a Herefordian boy. That's all I can say. We're just built different over here. We're just built completely different.
It was honestly, mate. If Messi, Ronaldo, anyone else does that, we're talking about it for weeks. That was. Oh, so
His
good.
name's
So
Jared Bowen,
good.
mate. Honestly, if he was playing, if he was German, he'd be worth 80 million. That's all I'm saying. It's he's had the reverse English effect. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, the
The
fact that he hasn't been in an England squad, he hasn't had a cap yet, has he?
Nope,
That's
nope.
ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
And yet they still continue to pick Marcus Rashford, Jesse Lingard, XYZ. Like the way that Bowen's been playing this season, he should be in the World Cup squad.
Looking ahead to our game on Tuesday, have you any I don't want to say fears, but do you think that we have any regrets about not killing it off at Anfield? I know that sounds really spoiled and entitled, by the way. I get it,
It
I
does a little
do.
bit.
But we could have, because there was a spell after we scored the second where they were on the ropes for no, they recomposed themselves, but they were on the ropes for a good 10 minutes where we could have easily got that third.
Yeah, it could have happened, but mate, we won 2-0 in the Champions League semi-final. I ain't complaining. I'm not
I
gonna lie.
know that's why I feel like such an entitled, arrogant arsehole when I say it, but one more goal would have made a huge difference, I think.
It would have done. It would have done. But mate, can you see any team scoring 2 goals against the Liverpool team apart from Manchester City?
Unanswered goals as well is the important thing.
Exactly. Honestly, and I've always been very, very cautious with my predictions and very, very erring on the side on that way. But honestly, mate, I can't see it. I can't see it, especially the way Villarreal play. Villarreal not free flowing attacking side. They would have been much more happy with 1-0 or 0-0. Like obviously, I mean that's very clear, but that's the way that they play. They're very, very defensively solid, and I think they'll still be the same at the start of the game on Tuesday, is it, or Wednesday? Tuesday.
We're Tuesday, yeah. Paddy's going to come down to my house on Wednesday, and we're going to watch
Oh, happy
the.
days! That will be
Well,
good
obviously,
viewing.
this is pending us qualifying, which hopefully we will. Paddy is going to come down, and Connor, we're going to watch the Real Madrid City game, which should be yeah, it should be epic viewing actually.
I tell you what, that game. Honestly, I'm not being funny, and you can clip me or whatever. We're through, Craig. This team. I understand we shouldn't be cocky or anything, but this team is so good. It's unbelievable, and it would take something alien for a Villarreal to get through on Tuesday. But that Man City Real Madrid game is going to be extremely, extremely open. I think it'll be similar, but I can't see anything but a City win.
I don't know, man. I could definitely make a case for Real Madrid at least taking that into extra time.
Do you
But I
think?
agree with everything. And look, I've been reading the chat as well, and I think I'm glad everybody's as confident as Chris is. And the part that really, and I think Chris alluded to this as well, that really makes me confident is I don't see how Villarreal come out of their shell enough to not leave themselves exposed for us to pick them apart. Yes, they could score an early set piece goal, something like that, entirely possible. But at some point, the game's going to have to stretch, and I'll always back our team against another team in a stretched up, broken game.
Yeah, I mean, you're telling me that if Villarreal are gunning for it, the Liverpool won't score. I just don't see it. I don't see it, honestly. Like, I think it'll be Diaz, Mane, Salah on Tuesday. And I think Luis Diaz will have them on toast, to be honest with you. I think it's perfectly made for him.
Can we frame this, by the way? I mean, an arrogant, astonished moment. He's the voice of reason. You know what I mean? You're the calm one, composed one. Yeah, we need to embrace this moment here, Chris.
Honestly, it's usually Paddy doing this sort of stuff, but I've taken a bit of reason on it, and the fact is that this Liverpool team is so good that we shouldn't feel like this, should we? We shouldn't feel nervous. We should be arrogant, Craig, and we should be thinking, oh, maybe we should rest players on Tuesday. I genuinely think we could. I think we could rest players on Tuesday in the Champions League semi-final and be fine. Honestly,
that just sounds so mad, doesn't it?
It does. I don't think we will, by the way. I don't think Jurgen Klopp will underestimate the situation. And that's why, because Jurgen Klopp is in charge of this squad and I'm not, because I'd be playing Divock, Origi and Tsimikas and maybe
Divock, Origi in a Champions League semi-final. There's no...
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, the man knows his way around the Champions League semi-final.
Exactly.
Specifically against Spanish teams.
If it was me on Football Manager, I'd be playing the kids, to be honest.
If we make it to the final, I don't care. Origi has to get a minute, even a minute at the end, 30 seconds, unless that game is really You know, we're searching, even if we're searching for a fucking equaliser, he has to get a little moment. I hope, and I'm sure Klopp will give Divock the big send off last day of the season or whatever. As much as I've moaned about him over the years at times, and he's looked disinterested, la la la. He's a legend. He is. He's just a legend of a man.
When he came on Sunday, usually I'd be feeling a bit like, really? But because it was a big game, we were drawing. I was like, go on then, Divock, against Everton. It's got to be done, right? Got to be done, and he proved us all you're all right in the way. I don't know how you felt doing the watch long, but as soon as I saw Origi warming up, I felt comforted.
100%. I said, here we go. Origi, Everton makes sense. Let's go.
And it must be something mental. Like, I understand what you mean when you said he potentially has looked disinterested on occasion, but I just think he's very chilled. And that's maybe what sets him apart in big games, is that he just doesn't care. Like, he just doesn't care. And that's amazing. Like, he's got this real sense of calmness and virtuousness about him.
I think he's going to do really well at AC Milan. I think their fans will love him.
Unbelievable. I think he'll do well wherever he goes. I'm surprised he's not in the Premier League, to be honest. I'm surprised West Ham don't take a punt on him. I think he's better than Antonio, personally. But
yeah, I would say that's fair. I would agree with you. Like, Antonio's a good all-rounder. That's what I give him. Like, he's a good, solid.
I tell you what, they'd work well together.
Oh, they'd be a handful. That would be a handful for any centre backs to deal with. All right,
but if he goes to AC Milan, I think he'll be fine. And look, he's done so much for Liverpool Football Club, but also Liverpool as a city. The scholarship that he set up as at the John Moores University is amazing for young underprivileged Scouse kids. What a bloke! What a bloke, to be honest, mate. Honestly, and he's one of the very few remaining originals from Jurgen Klopp's first team. And yeah, he's done nothing but amazing stuff for Liverpool. So big up Divock.
Right, I've got an interesting segment for the last few minutes, guys, and I want the chat involved in this as much as possible. Before I bring it up, Paul, thank you, mate. I will get back to you ASAP, buddy. Thank you so much, and say hi to Alfie for us. Yeah, we do love Alfie. Say hi to him. So, player of the season time, ladies and gentlemen, in my head, Mohamed Salah got the Football Writers Player of the Year, didn't he? Which is another feather in his cap. So for us, some awards for Liverpool Players of the Year. What are we thinking, Chris? If I had to ask you guys for an all-round, and look, no recency bias here, by the way, an all-round Liverpool Player of the Season, who are we going for?
I think it's got to be Mo. Like, I think it would be unfair to say not. Like, he's got 30 odd goals and 15 assists in the overall. I think it'd be crazy not to say him, to be honest. And I understand, like, it would be difficult to pick a top five, to be honest. We've had such an unbelievable campaign.
Who are the contenders then?
Alisson, definitely. I think Alisson has saved us in a lot of situations this season where we've potentially been a little bit open.
Fantastic. Yep. Absolutely.
And I would also say that Alisson's improved as well from previous seasons. I think his distribution's improved. Like, it could get any better, but it actually has. His one-on-one savings improved. His entire game's improved. He's so good.
His skin's improved a bit as well, by the looks of it.
Yeah, exactly. Joel Matip. I mean,
see, this is it. We're going to go through this team, Chris, and we're going to end up with 10 players.
Joel Matip, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Virgil van Dijk, even. I understand he had a slightly slower start to the season, but he had an ACL injury, and he's taken the piss, Craig. Like, how can this man have an ACL injury and look exactly the same? I don't understand. Like, even the most positive of fans would have said he'll probably drop off a little bit. He hasn't, Craig. He's arguably got better recently. It blows my mind with Virgil. It really, really does. Robertson,
having Canade alongside him with that, you know, another burst of pace if needs be, I think if anything, it's allowed Van Dijk to improve his reading of the situations even more so and become a more well-rounded, clever centre back.
That's a man who was one of the fastest players in the Premier League a couple of years ago as well, by the way. Like, he's not exactly any slouch, but having Kanate there, he's unbelievable. Robertson had a bit of a tough patch at the start, in the middle of the season, but at the start and at the end, he's been, in recent weeks, Robertson's been one of, if not our best player for me. So consistent. Thiago, I mean, again, Fabinho, amazing. I mean, Mo Salah, Sadio Mane, Diogo Jota, they've all got a shout. Honestly, every single one of them. And as I said, it would be very, very difficult picking a top 5, let alone a top 3 or a top 1 even. But I think it has to be Mo, just about.
I think what worries me about Mo getting the vote is it's very recent in our minds about who's playing well. So right now, it's a Thiago loving at the minute, and rightly so. But if you voted for this in the first half of the season, it wouldn't even be a competition. It would be Mohamed Salah every single day of the week. And the reason I've asked this is not because I don't think it's Salah. It's because I knew once we start talking about it, we'd start going, oh, and this player, and this player, and this player. And then we realize that we actually have this amazing squad and they've all performed. There's very few of them this season that we would look at and go, you haven't pulled your weight.
I would argue there's none. There's none that haven't not like, let alone played
Minamino.
Okay. Minamino.
He hasn't pulled his weight. He scored a few cup goals, but is he really? He hasn't
got 10 goals this season, Craig.
He hasn't pushed on though. He hasn't developed.
He wasn't ever going to push on. He's done. He has peaked. There, that is his peak. All right. I don't know what we expected from a £7 million signing from a forward from Salzburg who'd never scored over 13 goals in a league season before. Like, I understand it was probably a marketing ploy, but he was a squad player. He's a squad player, and he has been a massive reason of our success in multiple competitions.
You know what? Let's shake it up a bit. I know I'm going over a little bit by a minute or two here, but I want to break this down. We'll break it down by department, and we get one from each, and then we go from there. And then what we'll do on the next stream is we'll get Connor to put a poll up, and people can vote. So, look, Alisson's on his own. You can't really compare there. So, pick one defender.
I'd probably go Trent, to be honest. I think he's elevated his game. I think Trent's elevated his game to a new level again. To be honest, he's just, his range of passing now is better than it's ever been, and that's saying something considering he's probably one of the best passers of a ball in the world anyway.
Taki has pulled his weight. We couldn't have won the Carabao Cup without him. I just don't think it. Yeah, look, I'm obviously being harsh here. I accept that I'm in the minority here. So you're right and I'm wrong, gents and ladies. So no problem with that. We'll push on. So VVD for his comeback. VVD said Mick. Rav said VVD for his comeback.
It's amazing the options we have there.
Yeah, it's pretty good. What's this one? Another show. Where's fucking come up on the screen, you stupid thing. There we go. Matt tip for PC Drat. What else have we got with regards to Trent? Another good show. There's nobody really jumping off it. VVD seems to be the one with the most votes, I think.
I'd have no problem with Trent, Virgil, Matip, or Robertson, or even Kanate. Like, no problem.
Oh wow, Strasbourg got a last minute equaliser apparently against PSG.
Did they? Oh, I love nothing more than when plastic clubs don't win.
Right, so we're moving to midfield then. I think it's probably between two, Fabinho and Thiago.
Fabinho for me.
That will be where I go as well for the consistency across the season.
Yeah, I think he had what was the one? He wasn't great against Everton, to be honest. But that was the only game that I've thought this season. Wow, he hasn't had his greatest game. Apart from that, like, people rave about the Mascherano, Alonso, Gerrard midfield. Fabinho, Alonso, Gerrard would have been unbeatable. Like, imagine that.
Pretty good. Although, look, I did love a bit.
I love Mascher. Right, I love
Mascherano.
But I love Mascherano more for his character rather than his ability. I think Fabinho is quiet. He gets about his business. He doesn't fuss. Doesn't have a song yet, which needs to happen. But what a player, mate. What a player, honestly. And this season, again, he's elevated to a new level.
We all agree that the attacking one is Salah. It has to be, surely.
Yeah, for sure. for sure.
So we're down then. So then by process of elimination, we're down to Fabinho, Salah, Alisson. There's an argument for Trent and Van Dijk, certainly from the
And
chat.
Matip.
I think what probably tips it to Van Dijk is that for somebody who's coming back from an ACL, he hasn't exactly been rotated a lot, has he? He's
played every game, basically. Played every game, basically, hasn't he? Like, apart from a few Champions League games, Carabao Cup games, whatever. And he's been imperious. Honestly, I have no words for Virgil van Dijk. Honestly, I thought this season he'd slow down a little bit and he wouldn't be as good. But honestly, I cannot think of a defender better than him ever, Craig. Honestly, and I understand that people may roast me. Oh, John Terry, no, Virgil is so clear.
Maldini, maybe.
Did Maldini have an ACL and come back like that?
I don't know, mate. But he had amazing hair.
If he did, then fair play. But
he had amazing hair.
He did, and he was fair play, unbelievable defender. Scored in Champions League final. Shame they didn't win, but
Beckenbauer.
I can't claim to have seen much of Franz Beckenbauer, but all I know is he was the inventor of the sweeper. That's all I remember. Oh, by the way, do you see Boris Becker's in prison? That's the first Boris that should be in prison. Should be another one.
Soon. Yeah, he got 2.5 years to serve at least half of it, I believe.
Well, at least one Boris is in there. Needs to be another one soon.
I will stay away from British debates around the political side of it. It's not my cup of tea. Sure, when I become Taoiseach of Ireland, sure, I'll have to make do with whoever's the British Prime Minister.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
for me,
we shall call that one a night, I think.
Oh, mate, it's an amazing debate that Player of the Season one, isn't it? No, it brings a smile to your face.
It's an amazing one because it's so damn hard. That's what's so great about it. There's so many standout players that it makes it very difficult. So yeah, look, tomorrow we'll be starting at 12 p.m. I'll be starting the watch along at 12 p.m. the ungodly hour that it is, and then I will be on Twitch at 5 p.m. for the City Leeds game. So I hope to see you guys then. Chris, I will chat to you on Monday because we're not doing anything on Sunday, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Lots of love. Bye bye.